Okay, yeah, thanks, Chrissy, and thanks to the RIU for the invitation to present here today. So Falcon Metals, we're a Victorian-based gold explorer, and we have a very large ground position in Victoria, as Chrissy said. And I really just want to leave you with two messages today. One is we are a very active explorer, and you don't find big ore bodies if you're not drilling holes, and we're doing plenty of that. And we're also quite well funded. We have nearly 14 million of cash, so we really are able to carry out our plans. There's the standard industry disclaimer. So our portfolio, so Pyramid Hill is our flagship asset. It's a very large ground position in Victoria. It's over 7,000 square kilometres in the Bendigo region, which is one of the world's great gold provinces, known for its high grade. So I'll largely talk about that today with our major air core drilling program that's been underway for quite a while now. I'll also talk about our high-grade mineral sands results that we put out recently. That was the surprise that Chrissy mentioned, so a very nice surprise indeed, so I'll touch on that too. And towards the end, I'll go on to our Mount Jackson project, which is an emerging project in the Southern Cross Greenstone Belt, which is completely unexplored greenstone belt, which is quite an exciting addition. I won't talk about our joint ventures today. We have two of them. We have the Viking joint venture with Metalhawk in Norseman, which is a gold project in Norseman. And we also have the Staveley joint venture where Staveley Minerals is earning into our two Falcon permits in the Kimberleys next to their Hawkstone project. So it's great to have other people spending money on your projects. Quick corporate snapshot. So largest shareholder, Tim Goyder. So he's there because we did spin out of Chalice Mining a couple of years ago now and took the Victorian gold assets and $30 million. We raised $30 million as well. So Tim's there as our largest shareholder, courtesy of that Chalice position. He's also put some money into the company as well. And Franklin Templeton is also a group that came with Chalice but also funded us in the IPO. And we have Goldman Sachs there that largely bought on market. Our share price is around 13.5 to 14 cents. That gives us a market cap of around 25 million. And as I said, we have nearly 14 million in the bank at the end of March, so a very nice cash position. And with an EV of only 10 million, I think with our ground position and our activity, we're pretty good value. I'll just quickly touch on the board. So Mark Bennett is the chairman. A lot of you would know Mark Bennett. He's been a very successful explorationist with multiple discoveries, the most famous of which is the Nova Bollinger nickel mine in Western Australia that IGO bought for nearly $2 billion a few years ago now. So a very well-credentialed explorationist. I think he's hovering around the conference somewhere. And it's great to have him. He lives in Melbourne, so it's great to have someone with Mark's experience to draw upon in our office in Melbourne. So we also have Alex Dorsch on the board. He's been up here a few times himself. He's the MD of Chalice. He was the MD when they discovered Julimar. But importantly for Falcon, he was the guy that originally pegged the Pyramid Hill leases back in 2017-18 for Chalice. So he's got great passion for the project and he's a great addition to the board. Katina's a new addition. She joined late last year. She's got 30 years of finance experience in the junior resource sector, so she really does round out our board skills nicely. And joining the executive team with myself is Pradeep, a very experienced company CFO, and our exploration manager, Doug Windsor, who's a Bendigo born and bred geologist, and he's very passionate about Victorian geology and making a major discovery, so much so that he pegged the ground over his own house in Bendigo, so that's dedication for you. So moving on to Pyramid Hill, this is a typical day of exploration out at Pyramid Hill. It's largely flat wheat belt country, and under the low impact exploration guidelines in Victoria, we're able to drill pretty much anywhere we want as long as we can get a land access agreement from the landowner. We've been very successful in that. We've been able to get land access from pretty much everywhere we've needed to drill, which has been fantastic. We have a really good community team in place, and they really do contribute well to Falcon, and we are a part of the community in which we operate, which is very important in Victoria if you want to get on the ground and drill lots of holes like we're doing. So just quickly on the opportunity with Falcon, the reason we have such a large ground position, this is more than 7,000 square kilometres. Look, that's a map of the Bendigo zone. You can see our dark blue licences right through the middle. We dominate the region with our tenement position. And the important thing to note is that red dashed line that goes through the middle. 60 million ounces of gold has been produced south of that red dash line, with Bendigo 22 million ounces, Fosterville 9 million ounces, and Fosterville's been the largest, highest grade gold mine anywhere in the world for the last few years now after the Swan Zone discovery, and it really did put Victoria back on the map. And that's all below that red line, but as soon as you go above that red dash line, it's all covered with Murray Basin sediment. So the old timers really couldn't get on the ground and find anything under those sediments. So it's really just been hidden, those potential gold deposits under that cover, and people haven't been able to explore it effectively. So what we've done is we've put together a very large tenement position all along the major structures north of Bendigo, and we're systematically pattern drilling air core through that sediment to get a sample of the basement. So it's pretty much like soil sampling, except you have to drill through some Murray Basin sediment. So we're putting together quite a big data set of anomalies that we're building over the last couple of years, and we're infill drilling the better ones and just progressing along. So we're still going through that active screening process now, which is very systematic, disciplined work, but also infilling the good things that we see along the way. And we literally have hundreds of kilometres of strike extent of prospective structures under that Murray Basin cover on our ground to explore. So where we're up to, so as Falcon, we've done more than 200,000, as Falcon and Chalice, we've done more than 200,000 metres of air core at Pyramid Hill. More than half now has been done by Falcon itself. We've got a huge strike extent right through the middle, where all those dots with names there, Carry, Ironbark, Banksia, they're all new anomalies that we've discovered along the way that we're doing more work on. So those are all works in progress. But we're also continuing our screening process to the south here and to the north up here where Pyramid Hill is. So today I'll largely be talking about Pyramid Hill, our more recent results. Up at Pyramid Hill here, where we put out a high-grade result recently, and also down here at Eddington, where we're also doing some work and getting some results. We do have all these other prospects here where we've put out some high-grade results over the last year or two, and if you want to find out more about those, please drop by the booth. So this is Pyramid Hill. This is an interesting place right up the north. You've got the Four Eagles catalyst discovery here. You've got two faults either side, a very interesting structural corridor to host gold deposits. There wasn't any drilling here until last year. We literally just drilled one line right across the centre there, very wide space, first pass drilling through nearly 300 metres between drill holes, and we got a result of 4 metres at 0.47 from our one of our first holes there. Not a headline number. If you saw that in an announcement, you wouldn't sort of get too excited as a headline number, but when you're drilling undercover, that's effectively a soil sample for us. So that's a very significant result indeed for first pass exploration. In fact, that's the highest one we've ever received at Pyramid Hill at the time since drilling started in 2018. So what we think is quite a significant result. So we went back and did some infill this year. We drilled in between the holes that were nearly 300 metres apart, so at 140 metre spacing. And of the 3 holes we drilled, one of them came back with 3 metres at over 8 grams, including a metre at 24 at the very base of the hole where the blade refused at fresh rock. Now that's an even better result with our second hole. So we've got 2 holes now, 140 metres apart with no drilling around them, and it's just really blue sky. So these are the best results we've ever had at Pyramid Hill. And it's only a couple of holes, but when you're drilling on such a wide grid, it is, we think they can be quite significant. So we've gone back and we've infill drilled all around this zone here over the last few weeks. We've done more than 30 holes around that, and hopefully we'll have results there in coming weeks. And just importantly, like with the catalyst deposit down here of Four Eagles, that's got a 26-gram ore body there that they're doing permitting for an exploration decline in. We've done a review of how that was discovered over the time and the releases when they came out. And what we're seeing here at Pyramid Hill at the same early stage sort of is on the same trajectory path as what the Four Eagles discovery was. I mean, we've obviously got a lot of work ahead of us and a lot of drilling to do, but to us it looks like quite an exciting new development for Falcon. And we also did another bit of reconnaissance drilling while we were there, so we got another significant 3 metres at 0.64 undercover there, sitting out on its own. So that will be a target for further infill drilling as well. But the important thing is the results hopefully coming out in the next few weeks. This is further to the south, so this is where we've also been focusing some of our new drilling. Just at the very southern tip of where the Murray Basin cover comes down, we're consistently getting 1 gram hits there, so to us that's quite significant. We've done some more infill drilling there, we're getting more 1 gram hits. Again, they're not headline numbers, but this is drilling through cover, and it seems to be the more 1 gram hits we get, the more encouraged we're getting that there could be something deeper and a long strike. So we've got all this strike extent to do follow-up drilling on. Now that horrible green colour, that's basalt cover. So it's not Murray Basin cover, it's basalt. No one systematically drilled through that basalt cover before to get to the basement. So we're doing that now with an air core rig with a special drill bit that can get through that basalt. So for the first time ever, we're systematically drilling through this area, which is only a few kilometres north of Ballarat, which sits down here, which was a 14 million ounce goldfield. So this is the work ahead of us, which is to drill through that and see if we can unearth another discovery along that zone. Now moving on to mineral sands, this was the surprise for us. So Victoria is a known mineral sands province. There's several very large deposits in advanced permitting stage in Victoria. A couple of here today, Astron and ACDC are also doing quite well. We weren't really looking for mineral sands. We had a permit out to the west that didn't really have much gold potential, we thought, but we had a big mineral sands deposit right in the middle that we don't own. That's owned by a private company called Wim Resource, more than 200 billion tonnes in a resource at 2.9% heavy mineral. So I looked at that and asked the team, look, can we do some review work here on our ground and see if there's any mineral sands in our tenement? So we did that review. There's certainly some historical work there that shows that there is mineral sands on our permit. So we organised some drilling. We did some drill holes over here to the west. We did some drilling down here. But it was these 5 holes here that really did come up with the goods. So we did 2 here and 3 up here. And we got some pretty fantastic mineral sands results. I mean, I haven't really seen stuff like this in my time in Victoria, but we got 17 metres at 10% heavy mineral with hits up to nearly 22%, and 200 metres away we got 18 metres at 5.5% with 7 metres at over 10%. Now they're very good mineral sands results. We've done all the work on the zircon and the ilmenite and the rutile. It has all the goodies that we want in there. So this is an area of focus and renewed focus for us. So we've gone back and we've done infill drilling here. We've drilled all around that CD location where we got the highest grades. You can see there all those blue dots. We've drilled those holes and we're waiting on results. So what we're trying to look at is does this mineral sands occurrence have scale? And we also need more sample to be able to do bulk test work. We need to look at the slimes content, the titanium content of the ilmenite, all the things that you need to be able to properly assess a mineral sands occurrence. So this is all ahead of us. We should get the results for all this infill drilling that we've done in a couple of weeks, so probably in June. And you can see we've not only drilled around the high grade, but we've also drilled north and south of it and sort of along this road here just to really see what sort of potential scale this mineral sands occurrence is. But we're certainly highly encouraged by the grades we're getting here, and also the fact it's a known mineral sands province. So if we can prove up something that has some grade, it could certainly be of value to Falcon shareholders. And there's just a cross-section just showing what it looks like. There's a bit of a vertical exaggeration here given they're 200 metres apart, but there's 200 metres there and you can look at those grades and the thicknesses, and it's actually quite shallow as well. And then 5 kilometres to the north, you still have it lower grade and thinner, but you still have the same, what could be the same occurrence. So hopefully this is something of scale. Again, we should have some results out in a month or so. So moving on to Western Australia, it's good to have project diversity, especially in something like a place like Western Australia, and this gives us something to do in the winter because we do stop drilling in Victoria in about the end of May when it gets too wet out at Bendigo. So it's good to have something to do in Western Australia. So the Mount Jackson project is an unexplored, undrilled greenstone belt. It's 110 kilometres north of Southern Cross, which is a mineral province in itself. We've got multi-million ounce gold deposits, world-class lithium deposit with Covalent's Wesfarmers joint venture there, and also a world-class nickel belt down at Forrestania. So there's plenty going on at Southern Cross. But to have an unexplored greenstone belt is quite something. So we've done some work here, and we've done basically, this is the same map. On the left we have the soil sampling for gold, and you can see there's a nice bullseye target, quite a large gold anomaly right in the centre there along some interpreted structures. And on the other side, the same ground, but we've done nickel, copper and PGM analysis. And where we have coincident nickel, copper and PGMs, that's a very good sign. If you just have nickel, it probably just tells you have ultramafic rocks. But if you have nickel, copper and PGMs, there could be sulfide mineralisation there. So at the moment, we're on the ground doing ground EM. We're hoping we generate some plates and some targets that we can do some drilling. So we're hoping in a few months we'll be sending out the air core rig. We'll be doing some lines across the gold targets that we have here, and hopefully we'll get some drilling to do if we generate any EM targets there. But we're certainly in the right part of the world, and this is a really exciting one because it's a completely untouched bit of greenstone belt in a world-class province, and it's not too far from anywhere. So that's it for Falcon. Look, we've got a decorated team. We've made multiple discoveries in our team. We've got a very large ground holding in Victoria that we're doing aggressive drilling on, including some mineral sands, which was a bit out of the box. And we've also got some projects in Western Australia that we're progressing. And importantly, we've got the cash to do it properly. So thanks very much.